Friend, I want you to think about this. Have you ever skipped a meal or punished yourself with a workout because you felt guilty about what you ate? If so, you're definitely not alone, but we need to talk about why.
Welcome to The Real Dish Show, the place where we peel back the onion on your fabulously fit life. I'm Chef Mareya, the Fit Foodie, and with over 30 years of experience in the health and wellness world, I'm here to guide you on this journey to uncover the keys to living a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're seeking practical tips for nutrition, fitness, mental well-being, or simply craving insightful conversations with experts in the field, you've come to the right place. Now get ready to embark on a holistic adventure toward a healthier, happier you and make shift happen for good.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to The Real Dish. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Chef Mareya, the Fit Foodie. And since September is Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to dive into something that affects way more people than you might realize, and that is our relationship with food. Now, if you love food like I do, but also care about your health and well-being and fitness, you've probably felt this at some point, and you may very well be feeling it right now. Am I enjoying this meal too much, or am I eating too much or too little, or should I be more disciplined, or can I really have that chocolate chip cookie with the macadamia nuts? I've been on both sides of this fence. From my life as a chef celebrating every flavor to my time training for a bikini competition where food became all about numbers and rules, I've spanned the gamut, and today I want to share my story and give you some stats that will make you maybe pause and consider your own relationship with food, but most importantly, show you how you can have a beautiful balance between loving food and the artfulness and the creativity and really the craft that comes behind it, in addition to reaching your goals and protecting your mental health. So I want you to grab your favorite drink. Make sure it's a good for you drink, please. And let's get into it. This is The Real Dish. So let me talk to you about my journey a little bit, because I think it's going to give you texture as to why I feel like I can stand in your shoes to some extent. You know, I've always believed that food is life. And it is life. I mean, it's one of the main things that we need in order to survive. But my earliest memories were really about feeding people. And that came from being a Middle Eastern woman growing up in Egypt, surrounded by family and friends, and watching them prepare a meal and talk about the next meal. And I saw it with my own two eyes, really, that food was connection. It was celebration. And yes, it was sometimes even therapy. But there was a season in my life where food became a prison. I struggled with an eating disorder from my late teens until my late 20s. It reared its ugly head in the form of binge eating and restrictive eating. Some may want to put a label on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say I was very restrictive. I dropped to 87 pounds, which was a very unhealthy weight for somebody that's 5 feet tall. And I would binge eat and regret it and feel sick and hate myself and all of the emotions that comes, you know, with an unhealthy relationship with your plate. And then there was a season in my life, not so long ago, actually just in the last few years, where food became math because I decided to compete in a bodybuilding bikini competition. And for those of you who don't know about this athletic discipline, it's stepping onto a stage under bright lights in a very tiny, teeny, sparkly bikini with every muscle on display. And I did that because when I went through my own menopause journey, I really a lot changed in my body, and it felt like it was overnight, and I didn't like it. And so I decided to just see how fit I could get. And listen, the discipline is no joke. I mean, every gram of protein, every carb, every workout is calculated and scrutinized, and you stand in front of your coach and they pinch and they poke and they tell you where you need to lose fat, and you've got to have a pretty thick skin to be able to do that and not take it personally. But I remember prepping the same fish and rice and, greens, whether it was broccoli or spinach, day after day after day. And I said no to birthdays, and I said no to dinners out, and I said no to being with my family because I was chasing a look. And here's the thing. I got fitter than I've ever been in my entire life. Okay. I think I got down to like 11% body fat, which for a woman in her mid 50s, I mean, that's pretty incredible. But inside, I was exhausted and I was anxious and honestly kind of lonely. And food, which as a fit foodie, somebody who still loves food but loves to be fit, food was no longer about joy anymore. It was really about control. And the discipline got to the point where it was exhausting. I remember going for literally weeks, and, I'm not going to point fingers. I don't know if I was coached properly, but I remember going for weeks, eating 5 times a day and eating the same thing over and over and over again. Egg whites in the morning with some spinach and a fraction of a cup of oatmeal. That was like a quarter of a cup of oatmeal or rice cereal. And then, I'd have basically fish and, a couple tablespoons of rice and vegetables at pretty much every other meal. I mean, the smell of fish nowadays, it just kind of turns me sideways. But the point being, I've swung for the sake of being super fit, and I've swung for the sake of trying to be super skinny. And that's what I did when I was in my early years, when I really had a very uncomfortable relationship with food. And I'm here to tell you that it's just not that uncommon. So when the pursuit of healthy becomes harmful, that is where we need to question our motives. So here's a stat that stopped me in my tracks. About 27.5% of Americans show symptoms of orthorexia nervosa, and that's when healthy eating turns into an unhealthy obsession. And that is really high in the athletic or fitness focused communities where, I see a lot of people because I'm in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. So that number jumps to 34% and as high as 55%. So that means up to more than half of the people chasing their health goals and really trying honestly to be fit and to do well are actually harming their mental and physical health in the process. And double clicking on that, studies show that 61% of females and 28% of males, so it's not just the women out there, it's also males, have experienced some form of disordered eating behaviors. So let that sink in. I mean, these aren't just numbers. These are people at your gym. They're in your family, maybe even you, struggling silently. And part of the problem that exacerbates and magnifies this exponentially is, dun 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 dun, social media. Now, I use that clean eating hashtag in all my posts for many, many years. I mean, I was like the clean eating queen, and what I eat in a day videos and the pressure to be perfect is everywhere. But take a moment and think. Have you ever felt like you had to earn your food with exercise, or skipped dinner because you had dessert at lunch? These are red flags, and we don't talk about them enough. So, friends, really, I want to dive into this and why, in light of September being Mental Health Awareness Month, this matters. Last year, I think I've mentioned this to you, but just for the newbies out there, and I'm so glad you're here, I want you to know that After 30 plus years in the food industry, last year I decided to get my brain health coaching certification through Amen University. And the reason that I did that was because I've studied food, cuisine, I've studied nutrition. But the thing that really makes the difference when it comes to having a healthy relationship, both with yourself, with other people, with your own body, and with food, is engaging your brain. And I learned so much about how our habits either help encourage your brain to participate or quite the opposite, and what we need to do to really have every part of our bodies in alignment. Because if your brain's not engaged and not making good decisions, it's going to be virtually impossible to make everything else fall in line. But health isn't just about that number on the scale or the food on your plate. It is about your mindset. How do you view food? What does food mean to you? Do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? Do you understand what you need in order to make your body work properly? Do you keep in mind that there will be moments where, we're celebrating somebody's birthday, or we're having a moment where we're, coming together to share a meal, and the headspace that you come to it at reflects your heart space, and it reflects your quality of life. And if we're not doing this in a way that is mindful and heartfelt and relationship building and accentuates our quality of life, then it's stealing our joy potentially, it's making us anxious potentially, or it's isolating us socially, and that is not healthy. The pillars of health are more than just exercise, rest, and eating right. I mean, it is really about our community. It's about how to be happy and healthy in our hearts, in our mindset. So if any one of these pillars is broken, then the stool is not going to sit properly, if you get my drift. So how do we find balance? For me, it really started when I ditched the extremes. And my Fit Foodie philosophy, and something that you might want to adopt, this is really what I've been able to hone over the last few years, is when we focus on the things that we need in order to thrive, and that means optimally kind of taking a hold of our lives in order to achieve true joy. What does that look like? Number one is protein. When we look at a meal and look at the anchor should be protein, but the protein should be something that is, number one, achievable with our lifestyle, our income levels, with our taste for food. We want it to be delicious. We want it to be, not so restrictive, but at the same time, what does our budget allow? There is this onslaught of carnivore nonsense. And listen, not everybody is going to eat a meat at every meal. Not everybody is going to enjoy red meat. Not everybody wants to eat that big, thick steak. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe they can't afford to. I want you to know that protein can come in a lot of different forms, but the reason that protein is so important is that it's going to feed your muscle, it's going to fuel your brain, it's going to sustain blood sugar, and it's going to help create that muscle that we need in order to go the distance. We need muscle in order to age well. It's the longevity organ. So I want you to think of a few different options here. It could be salmon that's wild caught. It could be chicken. It could be turkey. Lately, I've been exploring some alternative meats like elk and ostrich and bison that are all really high in protein, lower in fat, really heart healthy, and good for you. But there's also plant-based foods. There's rice and beans. There's tempeh. There's edamame. These all have protein in them. You can even add protein in to the foods that you love, like chocolate mousse, like your waffles, like your pancakes, by adding in protein powder. And I don't think that we can sit here and scold anybody for picking one protein over another. I think we need to weigh all of those, what your personal taste is, what your budget looks like, how much time you have to cook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So know that the options are prolific. So many different things that you can pick and choose from. And if there are a handful of things that you like, you can switch them up by just switching up the spices. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But prioritizing protein is really important because it's also going to make you feel fuller longer. And that will help to prevent you from snacking or eating foods that maybe are not going to feed your thriving so much. Number 2 is add, don't restrict. I really focus on nutrient stacking with my approach, and that means adding superfoods. It means adding all the colors of the rainbow in your veggies, adding healthy fats instead of obsessing over what to cut out. Let's look about what you're adding in. And this is the hazard of putting yourself in a box when it comes to a dietary habit. You don't have to label yourself as a carnivore to like protein. You don't have to label yourself as a keto person or as a vegan. That only tells me what you don't eat. But if you focus on nutrient stacking, you become you're just still an omnivore. You're eating all the different foods, but instead of telling me what you don't eat, you're telling me what you do eat when you're eating all of these healthy categories. And again, I think restriction just instantly means, oh, I'm going to obsess over that. Because remember, anytime as adults with adult minds, we're told not to do something, guess what we're going to focus on? Is that thing that we're not supposed to do. So I believe in the 90-10 rule, and I write about it in my book. It's in all of my programs that help guide you on eating to thrive. In fact, in my program, Eat to Thrive, one of the pillars is the 90-10 rule. And the 90-10 rule, or 80-20, just really depends on how active you are, is that you're eating to thrive 80 to 90% of the time, and 10 to 20% of the time, you're really not restricting, okay? You're eating the good chocolate chip cookie. You're eating mom's meatloaf because mom made it. You're eating grandma's apple pie because, darn it, you're not getting that every day. And if you tell grandma you're not going to have her apple pie because you are not eating those things anymore, you're going to really hurt her feelings. Just like you're going to hurt your mom's feelings, because I'm a mom and I'll tell you that right now. If I make something for my kids and they tell me, well, I don't eat that now. Just you got to understand, again, this is about relationships. Food is not just about nourishment. It's also about the people that you love and how you're enjoying it. So could you make room for that? You absolutely can, because a healthy metabolism will let you expand every once in a while. It's actually good for you to eat more calories occasionally because it's called metabolic elasticity. When you are always eating the same thing, strictly eating the same number of calories, your body doesn't know that it can expand every once in a while. So just like exercise, you don't want to plateau by doing the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing with your food. Number 3 is spice it up. Flavor is your friend. I really, really dislike the content that I see when people are trying to eat healthy and they just don't season anything. It's like, good gracious. What a way to turn people off of food. Boiled this, steamed that with no seasoning, no spices, no herbs, not even a drop of oil. I mean, a little oil goes a long way in flavor. Even a little ghee, clarified butter, regular grass-fed butter goes a long, long way, and it's not going to break the bank. So get into those herbs and spices, my friend. And that's why I created Superfood Sprinkle. It's really a blend of 13 amazing, delicious superfoods that make healthy eating exciting again. I like to say it makes healthy eating exciting again. And it's not really just a spice blend. It is a way to help manage your metabolism because of the ingredients that are in it. It's a way to help you feel fuller longer because it has good fats in it. It's even got B vitamins in it to help you manage stress and to help with your hormone balance. So, dig into those spices because that's going to make the leanest meats and vegetables more flavorful and fun. And food needs to be pleasurable, my friends, or else you're just not going to do it. I tried for years and years and years to just kind of get by on the healthiest of the healthy. And I remember a friend of mine saying, if you think you're pushing the boundaries of health, you should go out to eat with me. I told them to steam everything and not to use a drop of oil. And I just thought to myself, oh man, I never want to go out to eat with you. That just sounds horrific. And I'm sorry for the chef in the back that's just like cursing because that doesn't let him be creative either. I mean, do that at home. Don't ask a chef to not add anything to it. But, beef up your spice cabinet and watch how it works for you. Number 4 is plan treats, don't punish them. And that's part of this 80-20 or 90-10 rule. If you love pizza, enjoy the best pizza that you possibly can. Okay? I truly believe this. I think if you love, there is a place near us called Truly Pizza. Shout out to Truly Pizza. And their pizza is maybe some of the best pizza I've ever tried in the States. I don't know what magic they do to it. The crust is like, it's thick. It looks like a focaccia, but it's crispy and airy on the inside and light, and it's fermented and it smells incredible. It takes like 2 months to get a reservation at this place because it's so ding dang good. And I'm going to eat that pizza, okay? And I'm going to eat it, and I'm not going to freak out about it or be guilty about it or go punish myself by doing like 30 laps around the restaurant afterward. Like, I'm just going to enjoy it and do it slowly and do it with people I love. And that's what you should do too. Do it, then move on. No guilt, no earning it. It's just planned because it's part of my approach. If you plan the treats instead of keeping them in your home where it may be hard to control yourself, or you may feel like it's just staring you in the face and willpower is not enough to overcome that, then don't bring it into your home. Plan to enjoy it out. And that is a great strategy for being able to plan and not punish yourself with it. Because we all deserve that. We really do. We deserve that joy, and pizza is joy. Pizza is spelled Joy. Now, number 5 is move for joy. I personally work out to feel strong and energized and clear-headed. Back when I was in my 20s, not so much. I worked out to punish myself, to get skinny, to see how low I could get on the scale. And that was punishment for what I ate. That really was not about being strong and clear-headed and energized and building muscle. So how are you moving? Are you moving for joy, or are you moving because you feel like you need to punish yourself for what you ate? Just to exist and sit here listening to me, you need a minimal amount of calories. And if you're constantly at a deficit, your body does not know what to do with itself because it constantly has to figure out where it's going to get these extra calories, and it will adjust to needing less. And that kind of shoots yourself in the foot because when you're constantly moving that calorie intake lower and lower and lower, your body just wants to keep you alive, and it will get used to functioning at that level, but that doesn't mean it's optimal. So this week, this is a little mini challenge for you. This week, I want you to pick one meal and make it both nutritious and insanely flavorful. I want you to add spices. I want you to try a new veggie. I want you to make it pretty because we eat with our eyes first. And then I want you to eat it slowly. Take 20 minutes to eat because your body doesn't even register satiety until after 20 minutes. So no TV, just savor it. Sit with someone, or if you're alone, I want you to just enjoy it with some beautiful music, maybe classical, if I might just make that suggestion, or something you love, and just savor it. And then pick a day or two or three that you're going to have a treat. Literally write it on your calendar. So maybe midday or midweek, I mean Wednesday, you're going to do something for hump day. Maybe on Friday, you're going to do something because you're celebrating the weekend. And maybe Sunday, you're going to do something because you're going to be with your family. Here's what I found is when you eat to thrive 80 to 90% of the time, and then you are having that treat, you're probably going to feel like you can't eat as much as you used to. I mean, I'm just suggesting that. Again, I'm not trying to limit you, but I did it last night. I had a piece of cake. It was not a diet cake. It was not a protein cake. It was just cake. And I had it with my family because we were celebrating my brother's birthday. I took a tiny piece, okay? I didn't need a lot. I just wanted a few bites because that's fine for me and that still makes me feel like I can enjoy it. And I just had the cake. I didn't feel stressed about it. I didn't feel like I needed to go do 50 push-ups to burn it off. Nothing. I didn't feel anything. I just felt like I was having a piece of birthday cake. But it's taken me a long time to get here because nobody really gave me permission to do that before. I want you to know you have permission. You have permission, and it's absolutely within your power to do this and still lead a healthy, fit life. So if you're wondering where to start, here are the 5 steps I want to offer you to build a healthier relationship with food, aside from that fit foodie philosophy. Here's number 1. Number 1 is we got to stop labeling. We have to stop calling food good or bad. We have to decide that we are not going to wear a badge that says, I am carnivore, I am vegan, I am this, I am that. We are not identified by how we eat. We are identified by who we belong to, who we were created by. And I think that food should stay as fuel. It should stay as pleasure. It should stay as culture and connection. But it's not morality. And it's not your identity. So you can drop the labels. You can stop trying to classify yourself. If you happen to decide that eating according to a vegan approach is good for you, that's fine. But you don't have to feel guilty or bad if one day you decide that you want to try gelato and it's not vegan. Or you want to have some honey and people are bent out of shape because honey is produced by bees and you're vegan. I'm just saying, I just want to encourage you to give yourself that lenience and know that you don't have to have that label associated with yourself. It's not who you are, and it's not your morality. Number 2 is check your social media diet. Oh, this hits hard. If certain accounts make you feel guilty, or less than, just either put them on ice or unfollow them. Your feed should uplift you, not shame you. I am really, really tired of fitness influencers always talking about how, well, when I eat ice cream, I only have the protein ice cream. Or when I go on vacation, I still eat according to how I eat at home. Bull crap. No, you don't. You're just not showing us everything. Okay? So don't try to be holier than thou. If you're not having a pastry, a croissant, a chocolate mousse, a cheesecake, I don't know, pasta, bread, like if you're not having something that you normally don't eat when you're on vacation, I just call BS. I really do. I call it. And if you're not doing it, that's just ridiculous. And the bottom line is you shouldn't be shaming anybody else either. So You asked me how I really felt, and that's how I really feel. Number 3 is listen to your body. Are you hungry? Actually hungry? Or are you stressed? Or are you eating out of boredom? Or are you eating because you're dehydrated? Did you know that thirst disguises itself as hunger? So if you're not getting enough liquid into your body, clear liquids particularly, you're not drinking enough water or light green tea or things like that, then you could be feeling hungrier than normal. And if you're not eating enough protein, that also could be the case. So listen to your body, but really like use your brain to discover and decipher what could be the cause of your hunger and learn the difference and make some adjustments. You need to think about how you start the day too. Are you starting your morning maybe fasting and then you break your fast with a bunch of carbs and no protein? I mean, I love carbs. Trust me, I love carbs so much. But I'm not going to eat carbs without protein. I know what it will do to my system. So if I have the carb, I'm going to eat something with it. And you should know yourself too. And if you don't know yourself, maybe start to keep a food journal and see what certain foods do. If you have a little bit of a, blood sugar dip after you eat, that's probably an indication that you're not getting enough fat or protein at that meal. And make those adjustments. And if you're just eating out of boredom, that means you just had a meal and then an hour later you're eating again. Well, if you ate well, then you probably are not hungry still. And the same goes for stress. So listen to your body's cues and make those adjustments. Number 4 is, I already said it, but I'll say it again because it's pretty important, is practice the 80-20 or 90-10 rule. And the reason I give you a range is because some people may be trying to lose weight. And if you're trying to lose weight, it's more like the 90-10. And if you're trying to lose a lot of weight, especially, it's more like the 90-10. But if you're trying to maintain a healthy weight, maintenance is 80-20. And 80% is nourishing foods that help you thrive, and 20% is fun food. It's the fun, unabandoned food, okay? And there's no guilt either way. And if you're wondering which camp you should be parked in, then you probably want to consult your nutritionist, your dietitian, or your doctor and know what your goals are. But my friends, I see far too many people taking GLP-1s and they eat like birds, and it's going to catch up with you in the long run. It just is. Your muscle mass is going to be compromised, and your ability to eat and enjoy food is always going to be under the microscope. So there are ways around GLP-1s, and that's a whole nother podcast episode. You can listen to that reference is in the show notes, but I just want you to know that there are ways that you can go about this. And getting the support you need can be a game changer. And that might be talking to a therapist first and foremost, because if you have a long-standing bad relationship with food, it's not going to fix itself overnight. I want you to know my hotline's always open too. You can drop me an email at Mareya@chefmareya.com. I talk very openly about the eating disorder that I went through a lot. I talk about it in my book. I talk about it on my podcast. I talk about it in my programs. And talking about it is not weakness. Talking about it is coming to grips with it and wanting to move on. So I want you to know you are not alone. And if it's eating you up inside, then it's a problem. And it's something that coming to terms with it and fixing and helping is going to just be a big weight off your shoulders. So I say that as with all the love in the world, because I've been there in your shoes. So to wrap this beautiful episode up in a bow, I want to encourage you this week to choose that meal that you're going to make, the one that you're going to slow down for, you're going to savor every bite, and you're going to thank your body for all it does for you. No extremes, no guilt, just gratitude and balance. Because you are not a label of what you eat or how you eat. And don't let anybody pigeonhole you or put baby in a corner, because that's their problem, not yours. And if this episode spoke to you, would you share it with someone who might need to hear it? This is real talk. This is really important, because the more we talk about it, the more we break the silence and the shame around food and mental health. Especially for my fit friends out there. My fit friends, you are beautiful. You don't have to be 4% body fat or 10% body fat or even 15% body fat to feel like you are loved. And I want you to know you're so much more than that. The muscle is important, yes, but the getting to the point where you don't enjoy food anymore, that's where you need to start to question yourself. So, thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Real Dish. I'm Chef Mareya, the Fit Foodie, reminding you that in every bite, there's a chance to nourish your body, your mind, and your relationships. So until next time, go out there and enjoy, with an emphasis on joy. Episode 150? What? Can you believe it? When I started this podcast, I had no idea it would grow into the amazing community it is today. Each and every episode has been a chance to share stories, interviews, ideas, and inspiration with all of you, and reaching this milestone is only possible because you keep listening, learning, and laughing right along with me. So here's the deal. I really want to hear from you. What topics do you want me to dive into next? And who do you want me to bring onto the show? Your input will help shape the next 150 episodes and beyond. Just email me at info@chefmareya.com. And thank you for being part of this journey with me. Let's just keep digging in together.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal health advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice, and the views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. Hey, it's Chef Mareya, and thank you so much for tuning into The Real Dish. It means a lot to me that you're here. I hope today's episode has inspired you to take some proactive steps towards a healthier and happier you. Because just remember, bite-sized changes can lead to big transformations. But before you go, would you do me a big favor? If you found value in this episode, would you share it with 2 of your closest friends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode? And if you really want to make this girl's day, would you leave a 5-star review? I do hear an angel gets its wings every time you do that. But really, this helps us spread the message of real life wellness to even more listeners. And everybody could use a healthy portion of that, right? Now, until next time, remember, you are the chef of your own kitchen. So feed your life well, make good decisions, prioritize your well-being, and remember, you need to take care of you because we only get one of you and you are a gift to everyone around you. So until next week, this is Chef Mareya signing off. And just remember, we're here to cook up a good time every single week. We'll see you soon.